What is up, man? We back in black in the building. Shout out to everybody out there at the Core Plantation. If you are at one, much power and respect, because, man, you better get this money while you can. So shout out to everybody out there handling business, doing what they need to do to survive. I am your boy Warren G, and the place beeping clowns like since 2003. I haven't did that in a long time. Shout out to everybody out there. Let's do the roll call. Shout out to everybody in Arizona, Vegas. Shout out to all my siblings, everybody out there in Vegas and in Arizona. Shout out to the homegirl Shawnee, Philly in the building, Erica, Florida in the building. Shout out to the OGs, James Youngblood, Tex in the building, Mike Drop, go check him out. Shout out to my brother Dave for No Compromise, Joji in the building. Go buy a painting. Hit that brother up and go buy a painting. Go check out his podcast and buy a painting. God damn. You ain't spending nothing. You ain't spending no money on nothing else important. God damn. Shout out to the homegirl Melina, all the way from North Carolina, aka North Kakalaka. Man, the forgotten problem. Oh, we gonna get on. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather for the onslaught on John Gotti III. I don't know why John Gotti III think he could be even at 50. 47 years old, you still can't fuck with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was out there taking it light. I was watching some clips of it and seeing it on Twitter. Floyd Mayweather, I'm talking about, he's just unmatched. His skill set is just unmatched. But you know, the dominant society be mad when they can't do what we do. You know what I mean? They don't like it. So shout out to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Go watch that fight. I think it's Floyd Mayweather Sr. or Roger Mayweather. I think either his uncle or his dad was fighting Tommy Hearns or somebody. He was fucking his ass up, man. Floyd Mayweather's people, that's why he's so good. Go watch that fight. It's on YouTube. I think it was Floyd Mayweather Sr. He was fucking his ass up a little bit. I was like, damn, no wonder this nigga's so good. But anyway, that is foundational black American blood. And it's just unmatched. That melanin is unmatched. We're going to talk about something today, the forgotten problem. While we focusing on elections and voting and all that, and I saw what Tasha said too. My sister, she was like, that's why I'm voting for Trump. I think a lot of black people like so disgusted that they like, fuck it, I'm going to vote for him anyway because they so disgusted with the Democratic Party doing them the way they are. But hold on. Now we're going to take it back. There's a forgotten problem that all of a sudden has vanquished. And I'm not talking about the car, I'm not talking about other shit. So we're going to get into it. Let's do it. The G's come back today. Nah, I'm fucking with y'all. Shout out to the people teaching Sunday school. And I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting on this opportunity and waiting, and now it is here. Your boy Fauci with the jabby jab, with all the other bullshit. Anthony Fauci hospitalized after testing positive for the West Nile virus. But let's take it. We're gonna take it a step further because Mr. Fauci's in some trouble. Let's see. Is it David Fauci, Anthony Fauci? I don't know. Yeah, Anthony Fauci, right? Maybe I call him David. My bad. There we go. You like, what are you doing? Because let's see. Trouble. Let's see. Hold on real quick, because let's see. Yeah, I want to see. Hold on. Let's see. No, because I'm trying to. Hold on. Now the internet want to act like stop with the bullshit. Let's see. And this is what the American people don't know about, because you like, Warren, why are you talking about this? Because it's so much distractions and so much shit going on. They're not gonna really tell you all the shit on the other side of what's going on. Okay, so let me read you this article. Anthony Fauci, the former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, who became the face of the U.S. government's COVID response under two presidents. This is fair use because this is on the internet. You can type this in. Push back against Republican allegations that U.S. research dollars had helped to trigger the pandemic. See, y'all didn't know that this happened, huh? Accused by Republicans at a congressional hearing on June 3rd of having suppressed inquiry into the jab origin, Fauci read out an email he wrote in February of 2020 to a scientist who believed the virus might have leaked from a laboratory, urging him to quickly report his concerns to the FBI if he determined that they were valid. It is inconceivable that anyone who reads this email could conclude that I was trying to cover up the possibility of a laboratory leak, said Fauci. It was Fauci's first public appearance before a congressional committee since Republicans took the House majority. At the hearing, Fauci was confronted with emails that Republicans obtained from a former top aide in his office, David Morins, in which Morins discussed using phone calls and private email accounts to invade his legal responsibility to preserve government records under the Freedom of Information Act. Many of Morins' conversations were with Peter Daszak, a British zoologist who led Eco Health Alliance. This group received U.S. funding to investigate potentially dangerous jab before the pandemic. You know what I'm going to say, jab. Some of the work was done at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, WIV. Last month, the U.S. Health Department banned Daszak from getting further grant funding, saying that he had failed in his duty to ensure proper safety procedures at WIV and did not report an experiment which represented a prohibited gain of function in a virus. Lawmakers from both parties assailed Morins at a 23 May hearing where he said he was embarrassed by the shame he had brought to the National Institute of Health, but that he couldn't put the toothpaste back in the tube. No shit. No clear evidence of an attempt to cover up a plandemic origins emerged. However, the messages that Morins sought to conceal instead contained blunt commentary about Fauci's public critics. Fauci's distanced himself from Morins at the June 3rd hearing, calling Morins' actions a terrible thing. He denied using private emails for government business. The Democrats appeared buoyed by Fauci's performance, releasing a report of the hearing entitled Republicans Fauci Flop. Republicans have yet to publish a report, but announced the Centers of Disease Control Prevention Director Rochelle Walensky has agreed to testify on June 3rd. So I guess she testified. A House divided. The House Select Committee subcommittee on the jab pandemic was set up by Dems in 2020 primarily to investigate the Trump administration's pandemic response and the causes of the high death rates seen in the U.S. But since Republicans assumed control of the House in January 2023, it has focused on investigating the pandemic's origins. Its members, more than half of whom are physicians, are bitterly divided. Democrats on the committee argued that its work is hamming preparedness for the next pandemic by undermining trust in public health officials and spreading conspiracy theories. They questioned Fauci, who has now retired, about death threats, which he said he still gets regularly, including from two people arrested on their way to kill him. He later told CNN that when politicians accuse him of causing deaths, it's like clockwork. The death threats go way up, aiding that young people might be discouraged from seeking careers in public health. Nah, don't try to blame that shit on no goddamn public health. No, let's see what we can find. Let's see what we can find. Anthony Fauci. Mm. Let's see. I just read you that, so now let's see. Yeah. Let's see what we can find. You like, well, why you talking about this? Because y'all need to understand that.
My friend Kamala is coming up on one of the last major fundraising deadlines.
Fuck Obama. The fucking tether.
Occasionally, congressional oversight does something useful, in this case, very useful and very important. They forced Dr. Anthony Fauci, to actually tell the truth about the National Institute of Health's funding of the Wuhan lab projects.
So now, let me tell you something. The jabby jab cost a lot of people their jobs, their health, their family's health. It was very destructive to the United States of America Incorporated. And if you don't think the dominant society is the masters of confusion, after you hear me read this, that should tell you. Now, this is the same man. Remember Sanjay Gupta? They was in that movie called Contagion and all. This, now y'all notice, you don't even know where Anthony Fauci is. You can find Waldo before you find that squarehead motherfucker. So what does that tell you about how dumb they think the American people are? They rather have you fighting over Democratic problems and Republican problems than looking at the real problems that are forgotten. As both, in my personal opinion, somebody put that man up there to lie to people, to lie to the American people and tell the American people to do that. I witnessed a lot of people lose their jobs. I witnessed a lot of people lose their health about other things, but specifically what they were targeting. And now you before Congress, which people ain't even remember because we're so focused on the Super Bowl or focused on the championships or focused on the Olympics. See, it's called, they are the masters of confusion. If we put a whole bunch of bullshit out there, they're not going to focus on the real problem. It's called managerial tactics 101.
Some other things about the pandemic. Fauci went into a closed-door meeting this week and provided 2 days of testimony, so under oath, 14 hours of questioning.
And this is fair use because this video is on YouTube as well.
Here now, chairman of the Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, Dr. and Representative Brad Wenstrup of Ohio. Good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Most important revelation.
Well, there are many revelations. I think you can start with one that, you know.
And let's go to, let's go.
The face of science.
Hold on.
Questions from
And let me tell you something. I believe the Dems were behind putting that out to show what type of a response the Republican Party could have at the behest of the goddamn American people. I believe both parties do it to each other. That's what I believe. They don't give a fuck. Here, let's see if Trump could handle this response and all that, since he's anti this and anti that. And then they put the shit out there and put Fauci and whatever happened to Bill Gates. Remember, I have been telling you this whole time, Bill Gates can't even solve the viruses on Microsoft Windows, but he can tell you about a virus in real life. That man builds computers. He's not a fucking doctor. And all of a sudden, you don't even see fucking Bill Gates anymore. You don't see him. You don't hear from him. It's like he doesn't even exist. Well, we killed enough people. We fucked over enough lives. All right, I'm done.
Select House Subcommittee. Dr. Anthony Fauci is retired, but...
Oh, and also, y'all didn't even realize he's retired. This is the same man 5 years ago, on every channel telling everybody what to do in every situation, causing so many disruptive behaviors from different groups that are in America's society because of this bullshit. And then had fucking Bill Gates right along with him. Had everybody else right along with him. Man, they shut down Vegas for 90 days over that bullshit. And let me tell you what happened. Steve Sisolak, who's a Democratic fucking governor, they shut that down. I called it. I told my sister, I told everybody, I said, he's not going to win anymore. And then Sheriff Lombardo, who's a Republican, ended up winning the goddamn government, winning the governor nominee, because when have y'all ever known for Las Vegas to shut down the Strip for 90 days? Literally, the Strip was closed for 90 days. And then everybody's looking around like, well, why are they bringing all these sports teams here? Do y'all know what type of billion-dollar hit Vegas took for shutting down those casinos for 90 days? They knew what they was doing. That's why Sheriff Lombardo, that's why them Republicans got his punk ass out of there real quick and put Sheriff Lombardo in there. They like, no, nigga, we don't shut down Vegas. What kind of sucker shit is that? You better tell them hoe ass niggas to put a fucking mask on, come in here and gamble and spend that goddamn money. That's why now Vegas is like, fuck them casinos. We bringing sports teams here, and all you punk motherfuckers gonna have to put on masks. Y'all commoner anyway. Y'all gonna do what we tell you to do.
Really became a household name during the pandemic. You can see some of that testimony underway here live. House Republicans have been grilling him for hours at this point about his response to COVID-19. House Democrats say their Republican colleagues are focusing on unsubstantiated claims against Fauci.
Yeah, because Fauci is your man, Democrats. See, you like, Warren, why are you talking about this? Because I'm going to give you a correlation effect. Bro, neither party is your friend. I don't give a fuck if they bought little Miss Butterworth back and had her run for president. That bitch ain't your friend either. Unless she's talking about a specific agenda for black folk. Now, you haven't already heard Steve Harvey with his goofy bald head ass talking about, now y'all can't just be talking about nothing specifically for black people. Because Kamala Harris said, I'm not going to do nothing just specifically for black people. No. And now they're having people to go back and clean that sucker shit up. But Anthony Fauci is they man. And Bill Gates and all of them was propping him up and putting him on every news media outlet for days and days and days and days and days. And they was hyping it up. And a lot of these people was getting money from all these deaths that took place. And look, at the behest of the American people. And now they want you to turn around and vote for these motherfuckers.
Instead of the facts. Congressional correspondent Nathaniel Reed joins us live now. Nate, we've watched some of this testimony.
Man, get to
Well, look,
it.
this is an opportunity. Is the director.
Nah, y'all need to get to, stop doing that. Get to where they was getting on his punk ass. Fuck all that bullshit. Man. Get tired of that shit. Nah, get to where the motherfucker was answering the goddamn questions. I don't want to hear all that other shit. Man. Cause I wanna, let's listen to it. Cause you like, why you I'm playing this because y'all gonna be the same motherfuckers turn around and vote for these motherfuckers and that was they man. Like Obama was they man? Man, come on. All right. Okay.
Pave the way for the interagency collaboration to fortify zoonotic disease prevention, invested in our infectious disease workforce, and enhanced
for assessing whether experiment is too dangerous.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because I want to get to the part where they asking him the question.
Research of any kind.
Hold on. Because remember, Anthony Fauci is they man. That's they man. So let's hear what he got to say.
It is inconceivable that anyone who reads this email could conclude that I was
spread of misinformation about COVID-19 by our adversaries. And unfortunately...
Hold on. All right, there we go.
A jury is allowed to draw an ad.
And the reason you're like, Warren, why are you playing? I'm playing this so y'all can have this in y'all heads. Even if y'all do vote for Trump, I don't give a fuck who y'all vote for. I don't tell people who to vote for. I don't care. Do what you do. But I want you to understand why you're making that decision. Like, oh, okay, well, that was they man. So when a Democratic when a Democratic shield or somebody or a sucker motherfucker, I Spy, come up to you and be like, my brother, my sister, you gonna vote Democrat for our sister, Kamala Harris? The first thing I want you to do is say, did you watch that congressional hearing with Anthony Fauci? And they're gonna be like, well, what did I have to? Well, he is they man. They the ones who put him out there. Him and Bill Gates and all these other motherfuckers. And then what you say to that person is, do you know how many people I know lost their lives, their families, their jobs, their homes behind that bullshit? So why would I vote for them? And they have yet to come out and apologize to the American people. They just cut ties with Anthony Fauci. But you ain't heard not a single sucker motherfucker from the Democratic Party come out and say, hey man, we dropped the ball on that pandemic. We really did. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their homes, their families. We really, really fucked that up. And we apologize, and we're going to do better next go around. No, they acting like that shit didn't even exist. They act like that pandemic was 70 years ago. No, y'all, it was 5 years ago. Remember, 2019, that was 5 years ago, not 30 years ago. And why ain't nobody holding this party responsible? Fauci is their man. They put him up there because they wanted to show how weak the Republicans were at responding, at their responses and reactions to that pandemic. So they wanted to go at the Republican Party at the behest of the American people. And what does David from No Compromise always say? Hey, Warren G, you got to remember, dog, the dominant society, they the masters of confusion.
First inference that the information destroyed or not produced was unfavorable. Therefore, until we get a full accounting of all of the communications among NIAID's leadership, it's reasonable for us to assume that missing information would mirror the private doubts expressed by so many virologists and other scientists related to your public positions. While telling the public, the media, and Congress that COVID-19 almost certainly emerged from nature, experts you convened as a team privately worried that a research-related incident was a possible, if not the probable, origin of the virus. Dr. Christian Anderson even said in February of 2020, quote, "I think the main thing still in my mind is that the lab escape version of this is so friggin' likely to have happened because they were already doing this type of work and molecular data is fully consistent with that scenario." Further, while you and other NIAID officials were assuring us that the virus could not have come from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, NIAID didn't actually have an idea as to what the full scope of Wuhan's coronavirus research was, or even the trajectory of it.
Having originated from an animal market in China, the Chinese coerced analysts.
So these are Republican congressmen and congresswomen, and they're basically getting off their
Others
questions.
claim that you commit and undermining American medical research at every turn.
Okay, listen to what this lady's saying. Hold on, let me get to this lady, because this lady is really going in on him. She's not just reading, she's going in on his ass. Listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's saying.
Having originated from an animal market in China, the Chinese Communist Party has blocked access to important information that could help confirm the origin of the virus. This committee should be doing more to fight for those answers, but instead has wasted significant time and taxpayer money fueling conspiracy theories and ignoring
Wasting taxpayers' money. Now, y'all got all this money to give immigrants and get to the Ukraine and get everybody else, but you want to waste our money to kill us.
the importance of preparing for the next deadly pandemic. Some GOP members falsely claimed you secretly broke into CIA headquarters and coerced analysts. Others claimed that you committed crimes.
He did.
America's adversaries like China, Russia, and Iran love it when Americans are divided and
Yes, they do.
distracted. It provided fertile ground for the spread of misinformation about COVID-19 by our adversaries. And unfortunately, fringe far-right conspiracy theories have permeated even mainstream media outlets, and some Republican members of Congress have played along. I regret that many of the conspiracies have smeared you, Dr. Fauci, as you and our top scientists did everything to keep Americans safe during the deadly days of COVID-19. Over 1.1 million Americans lost their lives
1.1 million.
to COVID-19, and today it's still more deadly than the flu. As we learned from Zika and Ebola, the ways viruses are transmitted are not obvious at first, and the development of treatments and vaccines takes time. What you and your team did to speed the development of the safe and effective COVID-19 vaccine was remarkable.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about
Just
to
listen.
give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Let the record show that the witness answered in the affirmative. The Select Subcommittee certainly appreciates you for being here today, and we look forward to your testimony. Let me remind the witness that we have read your written statement, and it will appear in full in the hearing record. As requested, please limit your oral statement to 6 minutes. As a reminder, please press the button on the microphone in front of you so that it is on and the members can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you will turn green. After 5 minutes, the light will turn yellow, and when the red light comes on, your 6 minutes has expired.
All right, here we go. Let's get to it.
Peer-reviewed literature. The accusation being circulated that I influenced these scientists to change their minds by bribing them with millions of dollars in grant money is absolutely false and simply preposterous. I had no input in.
And remember, he is the former White House chief medical advisor, Biden administration 2021 and 2022. Remember that. The next time a person tell you, hey man, why you not voting for Kamala? Well, didn't y'all employ Anthony Fauci and he killed all them people?
To the content of the published paper. The second issue is a false accusation that I tried to cover up the possibility that the virus originated from a lab. In fact, the truth is exactly the opposite. I now quote from an email that I sent to Professor Farrar on February 1, 2020, quote, Jeremy, I just got off the phone with Christian Anderson, and he related to me his concern about the furin site mutation in the spike protein of the virus. I told him that as soon as possible, he and Eddie Holmes should get a group of evolutionary biologists together to carefully examine the data to determine if his concerns are validated, and they should report it to the appropriate authorities. I would imagine that in the USA, this would be the FBI, and in the UK, it would be MI5. In the meantime, I will alert my U.S. government official colleagues of my conversation with you and Christian.
Right.
Stockpiling supplies for our hospitals in advance of the next pandemic. But I want the public to know that for 5 months, the Republicans sat on that transcript. They could have released it at any time. It was released last Friday. If the public had seen it 5 months ago, they would know that the Republicans failed to find a shred of evidence of their far-fetched conspiracy.
Used for their reason to say 6 feet is that studies years ago showed that when you're dealing with droplets, which at the time that the CDC made that recommendation.
Remember the CDC. Remember what they responsible for.
It was felt that the transmission was primarily through droplet, not aerosol, which is incorrect because we know now.
Oh, now we know.
Aerosol does play a role. That's the reason why they did it. It had little to do with me since I didn't make the recommendation, and my saying there was no science behind it means there was no clinical trial that proved that. That's just one of the things that got a little distorted in the response to that.
And I've learned and watched you over the years. I have to
This is
go
a Democrat,
back
by the
to,
way.
The Zika outbreak, where
This is the Democrat, by the way.
Congressman, that were just not true.
Well, we have emails to prove it.
Well, you don't.
Thank you. And I yield back.
Y'all need to watch this. See, this, I'm telling you, y'all need to watch this. Listen to what this lady is saying. It's basically, we're going to make the Republicans look bad and show that they didn't have a real response for the American people. That's what that was. Here, let's see.
Who get threats. And when they see that their colleagues get threats, they say to themselves, I don't want to go there. Why should I get involved in that? And you have some potentially very good talent that would be important to maintain the integrity and the excellence of the public health
white-splaining
enterprise in the United States. We're not getting the best people coming in because they're reluctant to put themselves and their family through what they see their colleagues being put through.
Well, you're right. You're not alone in feeling that way. In fact, ahead of today's hearing, the Select Subcommittee received a letter from the Association of State and Territorial Health.
Okay, hold on right quick.
For testimony, the NIH Deputy Director Tabak said, and I quote, "I can tell you that the failure of the Wuhan Institute of Virology to provide us with the data that we requested and the lab notebooks that we requested certainly impeded our ability to understand what was really going on with the experiments that we have been discussing this morning." My question to you, Dr. Fauci, if the NIH didn't inspect the Wuhan Institute of Virology and NIH didn't receive the lab books and data from China and the required reports from EcoHealth Alliance were not submitted, in fact, they were late, how can you definitively say that the NIH did not fund the dangerous gain-of-function research?
I go back to what I said, that the gain-of-function research by the operative and regulatory definition of P3CO does not include at all the viruses that were studied under the subaward.
How do you know that, sir, if there was no lab books, nothing from China?
We know what viruses they were studying.
How? How do you know? You never went there.
I'm telling you that the NIH funded research on these viruses. If someone else somewhere in China was doing something else,
well, and that's the problem, because NIH didn't go there. You didn't get the reports that were needed. How in the world would you know? I'm going to go on to the next question.
You're not.
Thank you. Boom. You're lying. And I'm not just signing with the Republicans. Y'all need to listen to what she said. Well, y'all didn't even go research it. Y'all didn't go over there to China. Y'all don't know what the fuck is going on. So how the fuck you gonna tell me, matter of fact, of what's going on? You didn't even go over there and research it. You just, in front of the American people, just say what the fuck you want to say.
Hearing what I'm saying.
And this is fair use because this was on C-SPAN, national TV. I watched it. And then I went back and looked at the motherfucking YouTube clips. And then I read articles about it, but I noticed nobody was talking about it.
Dr. Morenz, your senior advisor for over 20 years, said in an email dated February 24th, 2021, "I learned from your FOIA lady here now how to make emails disappeared when I am FOIA'd. But before the search starts, so I think we are all safe. Plus, I deleted most of these earlier emails after sending them to Gmail."
And the reason why she's talking about these emails, because Fauci was deleting emails. They were like sending emails and communications and then like, hey, just delete them from the server. We'll just delete them.
In another email dated 4/21/21, Dr. Morenz said, "I forgot to say, there is
Didn't I read from Dr. Morin? Remember he's trying to distance himself from Dr. Morin?
no worry about FOIAs. I can either send stuff to Tony," meaning you, "on his private email or hand it to him at work or at his house. He is too smart to let colleagues send him stuff that could cause trouble." Dr. Fauci, were you ever engaged in attempts to obstruct the Freedom of Information Act and the release of public documents?
No.
Did Dr. Morenz communicate with you about official business using his private email?
Official business? No.
Did you ever encourage Dr. Morenz to use his private email address for official business?
No.
My next question, sir, is on February 1st, 2020, you, yourself, Dr. Fauci, the NIH Director Collins, and at least 11 other scientists were on a conference call to discuss the origins of COVID. A number of the scientists said that they were concerned that COVID was the result of a lab leak at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and were concerned that a revelation of the lab leak theory would hurt their relationship with China. The CDC director,
Where's most of our stuff made? In China.
Dr. Redfield, testified that he was not invited on this conference call, and he believes because he believed the lab leak theory was possible. 3 days later, on February 4th, 2020, 4 participants on the conference call authored a paper, Proximal Origin, which was sent to you for editing. Proximal Origin pushed the natural origin theory. On April 16, 2020, the NIH director, Dr. Collins, emailed you expressing dismay that the Nature Medicine article, which was based on proximal origin, didn't suppress the lab leak theory, and asked you for more public pressure to suppress the lab leak theory. The very next day, in response to Dr. Collins' request to suppress the lab leak theory, you cited the Nature Medicine article, which discounted the lab leak theory from the White House podium. My question to you, sir, did you cite this article at the White House because the NIH director asked you to suppress the lab leak theory?
I did not do that in response to anybody's suggestion to suppress anything. It was in response to a question that someone asked at the podium. And I did not edit any paper as shown in my official testimony. So you said about 4 or 5 things, Congressman, that were just not true.
Well, we have emails to prove it.
Well, you don't.
Thank you, and I yield back.
Now recognize Mr.
All right, I'm done. That shit. She's like, yeah, we do. So you like, well, Warren, why you play that? Because I want people to wake up the forgotten problem. When people try to tell you to go vote for somebody, bring up this shit. Be like, well, wasn't he y'all man that went before the American people and said all this bullshit, was making up bullshit, and then going along with the bullshit? And then all of a sudden, when it no longer suited the Democrats, he retired and go on about his own fucking life. And then when he get questioned, oh, I'm worried about my life. They threatening me. And that's the price that you take for fucking killing all these goddamn American people. Look, let me tell you something. I'm not a scientist, but neither is Bill Gates. I'm not a doctor, and neither is Bill Gates. So why is it Bill Gates could get on TV and all these other people could get on TV and tell you what you're supposed to be doing? You're not a scientist. You're not a doctor. You have not done your thorough research. That's what I'm saying. And the Democrats, as well as the Republicans, will go back and forth at the behest of the American people. And yet, to this day, we still haven't heard anything about a specific agenda for foundational Black Americans. Remember, Cube had a contract for Black America. The Republicans wanted to speak to him. The Democrats didn't. They ain't spoke to him since. Cube too busy battling the NBA because the NBA gonna act like they love basketball, love all this other shit, and love his idea, and then shit on him behind his back, and then take some of his ideas and put it in the All-Star game. You see that sucker shit in the Olympics? How you gonna have hip-hop breakdance Olympics and watch that travesty of bullshit? This is what I mean. This system is global. And if you ain't trying to replace it and establish a system of justice, I don't know what you're doing. So the next time somebody, come up to you or say anything like that, you just say, hey man, did you watch C-SPAN when Congress was questioning David Fauci or Anthony Fauci or whatever the fuck his name is? Remember that. I just thought I would play that for y'all so y'all can see what's going on. And you can go look that up too. That's on YouTube on C-SPAN. That's fair use. That's why I've waited so long to talk about it, because I'm like, damn, ain't nobody talking about Mr. Fauci. It's like he don't even exist. Well, he does to me. Y'all have a great day. Guilty, nigga. Peace.